Let's go through the model. We start off with the first factor, and that has to do with assessing your strength. Now, this is where I'll draw inspiration from myself. When I was in high school, I remember I was in Presec. The day I wrote my final WASI paper and I got home, I went to knock on the door of my father and mother and told them. I remember we had just come from teen camp the week before. And I told them that because I knew my father and mother are very spiritual people, I've never said this story anywhere. I told them that when we were at teen camp, the Lord revealed to me I was supposed to be a footballer. I knew that was the only way I could convince them, and I was very serious. So I remember in that moment, my mom looked very convinced, and she said, you know what, we're going to give you the chance that you want. And so at that moment, when I assessed my strength, everyone was like, this guy is good, this guy is fast, this guy can play. So I wanted to be a footballer. That was my strength. I knew I was good at football. And then we can move to number 2 for the first iteration, scan the future. When I slept, all I dreamt about was scoring at the World Cup for the Black Stars, playing for the national team, playing for Barcelona, playing for the biggest clubs. That was what pushed me. That was what gave me motivation to work harder. And then number 3, I took a position. The position was that I was going to try and be professional. And so my mom and I drove around Accra a whole week looking for academies, looking for teams to get a chance to trial. And so after many trials, we got the opportunity to play with Quants FC in Dome. And this is where number 4 comes in. Now I got into a Division 3 team. I had to back it with some intentionality. So what do? I wake up at 4 a.m. every day. My mates were having fun, partying. I mean, you just finished high school. Come on. You have 3 months to live your best life. But I'll wake up 4 a.m., cross the Adenta Road, go and wait for a trotro all the way to Dome to get to training at 6 a.m. And because I knew that I had to catch up on time, I stay with a coach in Dome till 4 p.m., and then I train in the evening, and I come back. For about 3 months, I didn't have a life. That was all I was doing. I didn't even have a phone with internet or anything. I just went there, trained, sleep, woke up, trained. So that was my life routine, and that was my intentionality. Unfortunately, within these 3 months, I was scoring, I was playing. But here's what's important. I got stuck at number 5. Why? No one was noticing me. No scout was telling me, I like this kid. I want to move him to a level higher. So then comes that realization. I have other people who chose to stay at Quants. And that's a fair option. Maybe in their life, they decided that they would continue to push and hope for something bigger. But there is that need to also realize when you get stuck in the iteration that maybe it's time to go back. Because you can spend your whole life pushing through number 5. And unfortunately, the thing about this model is that if you don't get to number 6, you do not see the full benefits of the reward. And so I went all the way back. And this time, the beginning of the chapter was at Ashesi. Kept on playing in school, but then I started writing again in sports. I remember Benjamin Epton, he gave me my first opportunity, asked me to write on Baba Rahman. I wrote a story about Baba Rahman, and with my first article, Ridwan Ibrahim Asante, formerly of Joy, reached out to me on Twitter that he liked the article, and that was the beginning of my journalism journey. So I scanned the future again. This time I didn't see myself at Camp Nou or playing at the World Cup. I saw myself on big screens, on TV, on radio. That was the dream. That's what motivated me. So I took a position. I want to become a sports journalist. So we moved to number 4, back with intentional actions. Once again, I've never told the story, but my parents used to give me a budget when I go to Ashesi. But that money was finishing fast. Not because I was using it to chill, but from Ashesi, I would take a straight taxi. Ashesi is in Berkusu, Eastern Region. I would take a straight taxi all the way to Joy to just go and be on a show and then take a car back. No one gave me 1 cedi for that because I'm not an employer. I'm not an employee, sorry. I'm not working for them technically, so they don't have to pay me. So for many times, I was using my own money. So I'd have to go back to my father and text him that, oh, I need about 700 cedis for IT textbook. We're in the house of the Lord, so I'm confessing all my sins. When the money is sent, I'll use it to take straight taxi. My taxi was called, I think, Danny. Yes, Danny, a chassis driver. That's how I store his name. I'll take the taxi. There are times I'll go on the transfer deadline show, come back at 2 a.m., and then I have class at 7 a.m. But I kept going because I had to be intentional. And this time, luckily for me, I got noticed. And so I get noticed at Joy. I move on to do my national service. I get there. And, you go through the whole meal, production, a lot of production, learning, following presenters and all of that. And at the beginning, getting noticed is nice. But after some time, you realize that, everyone has moved on past this young boy who came. And so you want to get to number 6. That's leveraging opportunities. And so I remember one time after my service, I had a conversation with my dad that, I want to be different. I want to be different. I think, being just a normal presenter is not enough. And so we spent about almost 1 year brainstorming. That's how I decided that I wanted to go into data journalism. Why? Because I came back to assess my strength. And this time I had a degree in computer science. And so I was more abreast with technology. So I added that to my skill set. And when I scanned the future again, I saw data journalist. So I took a position to become a data journalist. And I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a time my Facebook page was Owuraku Ampofo -data journalist, because that was the position I took. Back the way, intentional actions. And when a match is coming, sometimes I'll sit down, I'll do about 4 or 5 hours of research, just hoping that Jordan Ayew score so I can post this tweet. Then Jordan will decide not to score. But that's not enough. I mean, that's the beauty of it. You keep on doing it till it happens. Because the thing is that I realized whenever you put out a unique post, something backed with data, and it happens, the reaction was wow. And then I get noticed. So this time, I realized that from number 5 to number 6, there was that ability to make that jump and leverage on opportunities because, one, I think at that time, when I was not even thinking about data journalism, the world was moving towards it. And so it was such good timing that the relevance in the field came at a similar time when data journalism became a big deal. And so I had opportunities to work with the likes of Opta for the AFCON, and Opta is like, the biggest data generator in the whole world when it comes to football. So I leveraged on that opportunity, and once you do well with that, more opportunities come, and I think from there, I've had different opportunities. I've had a chance to also work with Flashscore, who are also another data aggregator. And if you noticed, I've given you 3 different iterations of this model. And so we've done my football journey. We've done my actual journalism journey. And then we've done my data journey. In this current state, I am now on my content creation journey. Why? Because I read a post about 3 years ago that said there will be more than 50 million people using the internet by 2025. And there will be a staggering $32.4 billion. That's what the market of the content making industry would be like in 2025. And so at home, they call me Mr. Settings because I started to record everything. I started to create content. At the beginning, my videos were funny. The edits were funny. People used to laugh at my videos. But if you go back and run it through the same model, I'm going through the same model, but this time I'm not going through it, maybe step 1, step 2. So I assess my strength. I think I can edit videos. I scan the future. There's a lot of money in this industry. Take a position. I want to be a content creator. I back on intentional actions. I start to edit religiously. Number 5, I start to get noticed. And once again, I went back to my dad, asked him, I've been getting followers, I've been doing content, but no brand is approaching me. I'm not getting content. I'm not getting like gigs and all of that. We spoke over it again, deliberated people to spoke to, how to change strategy. And in the past year, it's been amazing. I've worked with, if you go back 2 years, I've worked with Coca-Cola, I've worked with Axe, I've worked with the Moroccan Federation, it's a lot of, I can't even remember some of them. But currently, I'm proud to announce to you that I've been currently contracted by Total Energies to be a content creator mentor for the African School Championships that's ongoing. And so I moved from people laughing at my videos. Today, I'm teaching children how to edit content. That's the beauty of life. And that's the beauty of this model. You can take a picture because you can run it through your whole life. We can run it through the companies that I've worked for. Let's start with Joy. Joy started, as a radio station. They were strong in it. They scanned the future. They saw, radio is not just the future. We need to add TV. We need to add online. We need to add digital. Same applies to TV3. They kept on adding. Because if Joy only stuck with radio from the 90s up until now, I don't think they would have been as relevant as they are. And if TV3 only stuck to TV from the beginning to now, I don't think they would have been as relevant as they are. And so, just to end, this is one of my favorite verses. To whom much is given, much is expected. The more you run different iterations through this model, the more much is expected for you. There are people here in this room that inspired my journey. If those guys didn't get to where they are supposed to get to, they wouldn't have been able to inspire me to get to where I'm getting to. And so as you keep on running different iterations and becoming relevant, do not forget to also know that you have a mandate to share and make an impact in your own way. Before I say thank you, one of the key things in this model, for it to work, you have to track. Because ask yourself, how do you improve on something you do not track? I've been gymming for 3 months. I had to add that. If you can't see the difference, I had to add it, just so you know. But how do I know my strength is improving if I do not track? For example, if it comes to inclined chest presses, I started with 5 kg. Today, I'm at 22.5 kg in 3 months. If I wasn't tracking my weight, how do I know that I'm stronger, I'm doing better? So the same way that I do that in the gym, make sure that you are tracking your life alongside this model. Are you assessing your strengths? Are you making sure that when you assess these strengths, you write it down, you scan the future, you write it down, and, throughout the whole model, just to ensure that you are able to have something to look back at. That way, you can smoothly go through the model, and when you are stuck, you're able to notice because you are taking notes. Thank you very much. My name is Owuraku Ampofo.